bright suns, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars with Maggie Lovett. Today's episode is going to be very heavy on the books. If you follow me over on Twitter, then you will know that I picked up a number of new books this week while thrifting. I feel like my channel is going to start to become a little bit of a Star Wars book thrifting channel, and that is perfectly all right with me. I have been having such a blast looking for Star Wars books to fill out my Star Wars book collection, and also looking for some action figures and other things that I've had my eye on kind of over the course of my life. And that's been so much fun to do. I'm actually going to show some clips right now of my adventures this week. Very short, sweet, to the point. It's going to be some clips of some of the toys that I saw at an antique mall. I ended up not purchasing anything because I didn't think the prices were as good as they could be, and I wasn't really in the mind to do some haggling because usually in the antique malls, the people are not there, and so then they have to call them, and I just didn't want to hassle with it. But I have confidence that I will end up finding those toys again because they weren't like super rare. And then I also have some clips of the bookshelves at my favorite used bookstore where I get all of my best Star Wars steals. So roll that footage. So that was what I kind of got a glimpse of this week while Star Wars thrifting. But before I get into showing off my new collection pieces, I did want to talk about two new books that I got this week. Huge shout out, of course, as always, to the folks over at Disney Books and at Del Rey Publishing. I am still just like overjoyed at the fact that I get Star Wars books ahead of release date. It still just like brings me so much joy. And my review is already out for Life Day Treasury, which comes out next week or this week, depending on when you're watching it. The Life Day Treasury is by George Mann and Calvin Scott, and despite Stellan Gios being on the cover of the book, he is not the central character. He does have a story, but there are a variety of different stories. You have some Ewok holiday celebrations. You have some droids celebrating their very own holiday. And then, of course, you have Life Day on Kashyyyk. You have Han and you have Chewbacca, and that story is so endearing. But you also have some stories of friends that have kind of been torn apart by the Empire and the Republic, and the two of them reuniting in an unexpected way and reminiscing about some of their childhood celebrations during the holiday season. And this book, like I said in my review over at Your Money Geek, just evokes these feelings of like the holiday season. This book would be perfect cozied up by a fire with a nice warm blanket and a nice cup of hot chocolate. Ooh, maybe the hot chocolate from Batuu. That was so good. I had so many cups of hot chocolate last time I was in Batuu. But that's kind of like the feeling that this book evokes. And it's so fun. I really hope that we get more kind of in-world anthology stories, because I really enjoy seeing the cultures and the traditions that we kind of know about but don't fully know about in Star Wars, getting to have these kind of like in-world stories, and I love it. So you can pick that up this week. Don't miss out on it. It is so great. It's a lot like George Mann's other books with like the dark legends and the myths and fables. It's good. It is a must-have on your Star Wars bookshelf. And then the next book I'm going to talk about, I actually haven't read yet, but it comes out very soon. It is Ronin. So excited to read Emma Miko Candon's book. I am just so excited for this. And I just haven't had time yet. I've been very busy this week, and I'm like pacing myself because I know I'm just going to plow through this book and read it all in one sitting. And I'm really excited about that one, as you can tell. Which I guess now brings me to the books that I picked up this week thrifting. So first up, if you watched my previous thrifting video, you will know that I already have a copy of Anakin's journals. I couldn't resist myself when I saw this yet again for sale at this bookstore for the same price, super cheap, completely unspoiled. So I got a second copy. Please don't judge me. I feel perfectly within my right to have two of these. But it's wild because it's like 20 years old. It kind of makes me feel old. But yeah, I could not resist getting this again. I also got, speaking of Anakin, Secrets of the Jedi. This was actually not at my usual used bookstore. This was at another used bookstore that I hadn't been to in at least like 3 years. And they had 2 Star Wars books. They had these 2 there. So I picked up, speaking of Chewbacca and Han, I picked up Smuggler's Run and Secrets of the Jedi, which I did read this book as a kid. I got this one from the library as a child. So 2 new books to add to my bookshelf there. And then this one I'm so excited about. Big fan of Jason Fry's books. Could not resist picking up The Essential Guide to Warfare. I love Star Wars guidebooks. They are like some of my favorite collector's items, and this is just so cool. Like, you have maps for sector armies during the campaigns of the Clone Wars. You have some really fantastic like Mandalorian art. Just absolutely gorgeous book. You have pictures of ships, different kind of starships. The graphics in this book is just absolutely next level, and I'm excited to have it on my bookshelf. Also loved the love for this book. When I posted my picture, so many people were like, oh my god, that's like one of my favorites. I have that one. And the spine had actually not been broken yet, so I'm guessing somebody probably got it like as a gift and then just ended up at the used bookstore. But this was an absolute steal. And I'm excited to have it on my bookshelf now. And then another large Phantom Menace cross sections book. I remember looking at this book at the bookstore as a child, and so when I saw this in the children's section at the used bookstore, I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. I don't even care. The dust cover has some damage to it, but that's whatever. Inside also, like, the spine is broken. It's definitely been very well loved by some child or collector who had it before me. But it was just like a blast from the past to see all of these like interior cross sections like of a Gungan sub. So I couldn't resist. I'm very excited about this one. As you all know, I've been looking for lots of prequel era stuff. So this is just a nice thing to find. And then last but not least, I picked up this Jedi Masters quiz book, which a couple of people recognized from like having as a kid and like reading this and entertaining their friends. But this was written by a kid, which I think is just absolutely delightful. It was written by Rusty Miller, and it's so cute. And a lot of people asked me to ask a few questions to see if you know the answers to them. So I'm going to ask a few questions now. Let's see, what's a good question? I'm trying to find a good one here. Here's one. If you have seen The Empire Strikes Back recently, you might be able to answer this question without having to look it up. What did Vader use beside his lightsaber in his duel with Luke? That is question 276. Let's see, another question. Question 422. What were Luke's first words after he was rescued by the Falcon? Let's do another one. Now this one's an easy one. If y'all don't get this, I have questions. What was the color of R2-D2's trim? You should know the answer to that one. What kind of creature was Chewbacca? Another question you should know. How many pilots did an X-Wing fighter accommodate? They're just such fun questions. Oh, I like this one. What color was a Bespin guard's uniform and hat? Who was the previous owner of the Millennium Falcon? What healing substance was Luke submerged in? This is just such a fun book and such like a throwback to when we weren't on Twitter asking each other these very same questions and torturing each other with quizzes online. But yeah, I have just had so much fun looking for Star Wars goodies at different yard sales and estate sales and antique shops and antique malls and bookstores. It's been so much fun. And I had an idea. If you go out looking for thrifted Star Wars stuff, send me videos, send me pictures. I'd love to share it on Let's Talk About Star Wars. I think it's such a fun thing, and the thrifting community is so much fun. There is, of course, the really awesome Instagram account that does Star Wars thrifting and some really creative stuff with their thrifting stuff, and they find like broken toys and stuff, turning them into planters. I just love the thrifting community, and I love the hunt. I love tracking down a good deal and bringing home new Star Wars stuff. My bookshelf is getting very full of Star Wars again, and it brings me tremendous joy. But until next week, as always, may the Force be with you. Enjoy the Live Day Treasury this week. I know a lot of you have it on pre-order, so it should be coming very soon. And, get ready to pre-order Ronin, because it's going to be so much fun and a great book to have in addition to Star Wars Visions. It's coming out very soon. So I will talk to you all next week.